What's up guys? Welcome back to Toon, Duelists. You guys voted, you wanted to see a Goblin BIKER deck profile, and today you get your Goblin BIKER deck profile. Now I'm super excited to show this one to you guys. I just love this deck so much. And probably every aspect about it. The lore behind it is amazing, the artworks are insanely good, the playstyle is fun and powerful. It's just amazing. With the recent reprints, it's even a very cheap deck. But if you want to know more about all of this, you of course can listen to the 5 categories, where I talk more about the archetype of the Goblin BIKERs. If you want to skip straight to the deck profile, you can of course do this with the chapters down below. But before you do, don't forget to like and subscribe, this would really help us a lot. It's one small click for you, but means the world to us, of course. So guys, without further ado, let's dive into the categories. The first category we talk about is, as always, concept and lore. First we talk about the concept. Well, the archetype is named Goblin BIKERs. So it's goblins on motorcycles, right? Well, kind of. Of course it's goblins and they're riding, but they're riding different kind of mounts. They kind of technically advanced with saddles and steer wheels and something like that. So they resemble motorcycles. The concept is pretty much on the nose. It's bikers, but not in the traditional sense. So yeah, just kind of magical bikers with magical mounts. So yeah, that's like the basic concept. Everything else is really biker style. The outfits of the goblins, of course, their behavior also is stereotypically bikers, of course. So yeah, this fits perfectly, but when we talk about the lore, we have a lot to discover. Because the Goblin BIKERs actually play a, semi-big role, I guess, in the Diabellstar lore. You see, the Goblin BIKERs are a bunch of different kind of goblins, shape, size, of course some of them even have beaks, so a wild bunch that follow their big leader Gabonga. And yeah, they capture magical beasts, tame them, and technically upgrade them, so the goblins can ride them, of course, and then they go to earn some money. Maybe stealing, but definitely headhunting and collecting bounties. And this is also what they try to do with the wanted Diabellstar. So in the past they had a lot of clashes with Diabellstar trying to beat her, but they never were successful actually. And after Diabellstar went into the temple, defeated the Snake Eyes and gained the new sinful spoil Poplar, the Goblin BIKERs of course were informed that Diabellstar is back in the city. And what did they do? Obviously, confront her. This time they had a different approach though. They didn't want to capture Diabellstar. As I already said, they knew Diabellstar was more powerful than them, but they tried to steal their sinful spoils and of course also the newest sinful spoil, Poplar. So what did the Goblin BIKERs do? The diversion squad attacked Diabellstar and Big Gabonga snatched Poplar right out of her hand. But as I already said, Diabellstar is way more powerful than the Goblin BIKERs and beat them up, and of course she didn't want them to have Poplar, so the beating was a bad one. So bad even that Big Gabonga had to make a difficult choice. You see, a while ago the Goblin BIKERs captured a big magical beast. A beast so big and powerful, none of the Goblin BIKERs was able to tame or even ride it, so they just captured it and locked it away. But Gabonga, seeing that his whole crew gets beat up by Diabellstar, was desperate and then freed the crazy beast. The crazy beast, with its magical powers, obviously went on a rampage, attacking left and right. It didn't know friend or foe, it just went completely nuts. This woke up Poplar, which was sleeping until then, and we don't really know, was it the magical power of Crazy Beast? Did Poplar want to protect Diabellstar? Anyways, we had a clash of Crazy Beast and small little Poplar. And in this clash, Poplar showed what it was capable of doing, because it just absorbed the whole crazy beast, leading to an amazing transformation, and obviously it helped Diabellstar to fight off the Goblin BIKERs. So, Diabellstar won once again, right? Kind of. Because just after she got rid of the Goblin BIKERs, Diabellstar showed up, did not only steal the newly gained powers out of Poplar's hands, but also put Diabellstar and Poplar into a deep slumber. When Diabellstar woke up, she found herself in a prison cell, ironically together with all the Goblin BIKERs. They had no way out, but as you know, bikers stick together, and of course some goblin bikers drilled their way into the prison to free their leader Gabonga, and of course all the other goblin bikers too. By the way, we can see in this artwork a new goblin biker we haven't seen so far, so there are hopes that we get new goblin biker support maybe someday. Anyways, when the goblin bikers entered the prison and they could possibly escape now, strange creatures arrived and attacked the goblin bikers and of course also Diabellstar. While the goblin bikers were fighting off these creatures, Diabellstar made her move to get out of the prison, leaving the goblin bikers inside. But outside of the prison, there were two new foes awaiting Diabellstar. Of course, I'm talking about Azamina Ilya Silva and Azamina Mu Risilago. I'm still not sure if I pronounced that right. Anyways, with the help of her already collected sinful spoils, Diabellstar was able to beat those two, and also the goblin bikers were successful. I guess. We don't really know if they were able to beat the creatures or if they just straight up ran away. Anyways, they made their escape from the prison too and escaped together with Diabellstar. And that's where the goblin bikers part in this story actually ends. I guess afterwards they went on and made biker stuff, had a great gang life and some parties obviously. Just what you would expect out of this crazy biker gang. So, in my opinion, we have an amazing concept and an even better lore right here. 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Next up, let's talk about the artworks. One reason I love the Goblin Bikers so much goes way back to my very first Yu-Gi-Oh! Card I ever owned, which was Feral Imp. Now you may ask, what does Feral Imp have to do with the Goblin Bikers? I mean, the Goblin Bikers are goblins, not imps, right? Well, kind of. If you look at the artwork of Feral Imp, and compare it to cards like Upstart Goblin, for example, you might come to the same conclusion than me, because I think the Goblin Bikers actually resemble the Feral Imp way more than they do the goblins. The big ears, the fur, the mean look on their face, in my opinion, those are more related to the Feral Imp for sure. The Goblin Bikers are a crazy bunch. Different sizes, different shapes, some of them even have some beaks, it seems. They just look amazing in my opinion. Especially their hairstyles, their jackets and masks they wear whenever they're riding just makes perfect sense. They resemble exactly what they should do. A wild bunch of different goblins coming together and being a biker gang and making a huge mess wherever they go. The same goes for their mounts. We have a wide variation of different beasts right here. We have some wild cats, a boar, a snake, a tortoise, even a bird. So they catch everything they can, tame it and upgrade it to be rideable for them. And the upgrades are actually one thing I also love about this artworks. Well, how they give them glasses or saddles, of course, then some steerings, engines, lights, sometimes even graffitis and stickers. They look just amazing. I just love everything about it. It gives off some steampunk vibes. I don't know, man. I just love those artworks. Another thing and a little detail I also love about it, while all those goblins look like a crazy bunch, they don't resemble each other anyhow, so really different in any way basically, but they all wear the Goblin Biker emblem. And I think that's just a neat little thing to mention in this artworks. If you look at those pictures, you will see something new every time. Small little details about the outfits, about the mounts, it doesn't matter, it just doesn't stop amazing me. I love the artworks to the bone. Next up, let's talk about the playstyle. Obviously, the Goblin Bikers are an Xyz-based deck revolving around rank 3 plays. So they spam the field very easily for you to build different rank 3s or even higher ranks and some link plays. But is it just any generic Xyz spam deck? I would say no. The Goblin Bikers actually have something special about them. They just really like to attach materials, also from your opponent, to themselves, and of course also can use materials from your opponent. So for some effects you can even detach materials from your opponent's Xyz monsters in order to activate them. And I just totally love that because it fits the concept so well. Like attaching your opponent's monster to your Xyz monster or detaching their materials in order to activate your effects feels like stealing, right? And I don't want to frame anyone who owns a motorcycle or something, but isn't that what stereotypically at least bikers do? Steal? So fits perfectly right here. Going first, the Goblin Bikers can put up some crazy boards with different negates, of course, interruptions, mostly in form of attaching monsters to them, which is actually also pretty powerful because there's not a lot of things that can protect your opponent's monsters from being attached. They can really build up some amazing going first boards, but also going second they are really powerful because of course the attaching is also very good to break some boards, and they can bring out huge powerhouses like a Shuriken, for example, that can make you finish off the duel real quick. So they're not going first only, they can really also work very decently in going second. This of course brings us to the next category, which is power level. So I praised them a lot by now, but I have to say, even though they can build really great boards and have a lot of interaction, they're rogue. But they are rogue, a good rogue in my opinion. The thing is, the boards Goblin Bikers build cannot compete with the current meta. That's just as simple as it is. Also, you don't have that much space for non-engine. I will show you some varieties or some cards you could potentially cut, but this of course also hurts the deck. So they can play a lot of non-engine, which is also a problem for them. So we'll have to wait and see if we get new Goblin Biker support or any good generic rank 3 monster. Goblin Bikers might be way up there again, but at the moment it's a good rogue deck and nothing more. And finally, let's talk about the price. Actually, if you only want to buy the deck core, so no non-engine, you can have this deck for under $40. And guys, I think that's crazy. Because don't get me wrong, when I say no non-engine, I'm only talking about hand traps called by the grave, TTT, something like that. But I included Zeus, which is about $10 a copy, and SP Little Knight for about $6. And those are the most expensive cards right here. And you can even play the deck without them. So if you want a really cheap version, you can even have this for around $20, which is crazy compared to other decks. Think about the Exodia deck profile I showed you 2 weeks ago. This was about $50 to $60. And we don't have to argue which deck is better. It's obviously Goblin Bikers. And you can have this deck for the price of 3 structure decks. And in my opinion, that's just amazing right here. So if you think about re-entering the TCG or entering it first time, Goblin Bikers might really be a cheap deck, but powerful enough so you can even at least compete in a tournament a little bit. You won't win, but you can play some nice duels right there. You're not overwhelmed completely. A great deck. It's also not that hard to learn, but if you want to learn it, don't forget to check out the basic combo and test stand video, of course. So yeah, price is just amazing right here. And guys, as you can see, every aspect of this deck is amazing, at least in my opinion. So I'm super excited to finally show you what cards I play in this deck. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Alright guys, as always, we start things off with the monsters, and we start off with 3 copies of Goblin Biker Duck Charger. Oh, I love this artwork. It's probably my favorite Goblin Biker actually, but not my favorite mount, I have to say that. Anyways, an amazing card with the effect that if this card is in your hand, you can attach an Xyz material from a monster on either field, and if you do, special summon this card. And if it is normal or special summoned, you can add a Goblin Biker spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Obviously, easy special summonable either with your own or your opponent's Xyz materials, and a searcher for Goblin Biker spells and traps. Amazing card, definitely a 3-off. Next up, we run 2 copies of Goblin Bikers Gone Wild. Also an amazing card where we can see the whole bunch, as well as the anonymous drill Goblin Biker. I hope we get that someday. Anyways, this card has the effect that if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are goblin monsters, you can normal summon it without tributing. And also, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon a level 4 lower goblin monster from your deck. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a card on the field and attach it to 1 goblin Xyz monster you control. So obviously, this is one of the best normal summons in the deck because it can straight up extend for another Goblin Biker, which is amazing. Then again, we normally wanna search it out. So that's the reason I'm not playing 3. I can totally see why some people would, but it's on its own not necessarily a combo starter because it is a level 6. So that's why I play 2, had very good experience so far with this ratio, and I highly recommend playing 2 of this. Next up, we also play 2 copies of Goblin, Biker, Cladder, Splooter. Amazing bird boy right here, with the effect that if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target a goblin monster in your graveyard, accept itself, and special summon it. And during your opponent's main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can detach a mixed cereal from a monster on the field, and if you do, special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Obviously, on summon, it's an extender from the grave, revives a monster, just amazing actually. And of course, also the quick effect out of the grave is also just amazing, helps you extend, and we even have cards that let us XC summon during our opponent's turn, so this is just an amazing card. That's also the reason I run 2. It's great in the grind game actually. You need 1 for your basic combo, and yes, you can bring it back, but trust me, in the grind game, you will be happy if you have another copy of this in your deck. Next up are the Goblin Biker one-offs. We run 1 copy of Goblin Biker Mean Merciless. The only Goblin Biker where I'm sure it's a female in the bunch, and this one has the effect that if this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon a goblin monster from your hand. And during your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can attach an Xyz material from a monster on either field, and if you do, special summon it but banish it when it leaves the field. So extender from the hand on summon can really be handy, and of course the graveyard effect is also good. You can only use it during your own turn, that's why it's not as good as Cladder Splooter obviously, but anyways a good card. We really need this for a combo, so that's why we only run 1, and trust me, 1 is also enough. It can work as a starter, but you don't need more than 1. And the final Goblin Biker monster we run is 1 copy of Goblin Biker Boom Mac. I also love the design of this one so much. Amazing card with the effect that once per chain during the main phase, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, quick effect, you can detach an Xyz material from a monster on either field, and if you do, special summon this card. Also, you can special summon Goblin Biker Boom Mac until the end of the next turn. So obviously also easy special summonable, but again, it's a combo piece. You wanna straight up search it out of the deck, so 1 is definitely also enough right here. Alright, so while this is it for the Goblin side of the deck, we of course run a lot more monsters, and the first card we run is 3 copies of Speedroid Terratop. You obviously have to play this just a free level 3, because it has the effect that if you control no monsters, you can special summon it from your hand, and when this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand. So basically a free special summon, and even if you have to normal summon it, it searches our next card, which is Speedroid Take-Tomborg. Hope I pronounced that right. Well, and this one has the effect that if you control a wind monster, you can special summon it from your hand. The other effects don't bother us. You bring out Terratop, you search Take-Tomborg, and you special summon Take-Tomborg, you have 2 level 3s. That's the whole point. If you happen to have your Boom Mac in hand, you can also bring out Take-Tomborg, but obviously Take-Tomborg is a 1-off, and Terratop obviously a 3-off. Terratop is one of the best combo starters, if not the best combo starter we have in this deck. And obviously, if it's a level 3 deck, you have to run 3 copies of Tour Guide from the Underworld. Amazing card, a real classic, with the effect that if this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a level 3 Fiend monster from your hand or deck but negate its effects. Also, it can be used as synchro material. We have 2 targets. You can either bring out another Tour Guide or you can bring out Mean Merciless. Mean Merciless is the better choice. If you want to know how this works, check out the basic combo and test hand video, of course. Obviously, we have some more level 3 extenders right here. For example, Psychic Wielder, which we run 1 copy of, with the very good and simple effect that if you control a level 3 monster other than itself, you can special summon it from your hand in defense position. The rest of the effect actually doesn't bother us, and it's kind of the same effect that the next card has, which is Psychic Tracker. This one has a very similar effect because if you control a level 3 monster other than itself, you can special summon it in defense position. Yeah, it's exactly the same effect. And the other effects don't bother us. Free level 3 extenders, of course, in a rank 3 spam deck, you have to run them at least once. Actually, if you want to cut out for non-engine, I could see you cutting out those 2. I don't really recommend it, that's why I'm playing them, because Spoiler alert, we run E-Tally and we run 3 copies of E-Tally. And if you only have one Psy level 3 monster in your deck, the other E-Tallies can be dead real quick. So that's why I prefer running them. Even if you draw into them, they're always a free extender. So yeah, my opinion, run them. If you want to make space for more non-engine, you can cut those if you want to. The psychic monster you shouldn't cut is definitely the next one, which is Virtual World Hime Nyan Nyan. Also, just an amazing card for this deck, because it has the effect that if a level 3 monster or monsters are normal summoned or special summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon it as a tuner but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you're locked into special summoning level or rank 3 or higher monsters. Also, if this card is banished, you can target one of your other banished cards and shuffle it into the deck. This card is just amazing. You bring it out with E-Tally, for example, use it for a Xyz play, obviously, and then you detach it, and when you summon your next level 3, you just bring it back. Amazing card right here. Even recycles a banished card, which is also amazing. Yeah, definitely a great card, but one is enough right here. Then we talk about non-engine, and I run one copy of Bestial Magnamut right here. Now, why Magnamut? Why the Bestials? You might know that the Goblin Bikers have some rank 6 monsters, 2 to be specific, and your Bestials are your way into those. Of course, we have a spell that also lets us use our Goblin Bikers to go into rank 6 plays, but I think the Bestials are actually great cards nonetheless, and yeah, just a great way to go into the level 6 monsters. I guess I don't have to explain those. And of course, if we play Magnamut, we also play Druid's Worm. Obviously, we do. Now, I can understand if you say you want to cut those as well for non-engine. They don't come up too often. They are kind of non-engine, of course, like mess up your opponent's grave. And Druid's Worm obviously is also great with its removal effect. But yeah, it's up to you. I think they do a great job in the deck. That's why I keep them right here. And for non-engine, we go on with 3 Fuvalos, obviously best hand trap in the game currently, in my opinion. And we round things up. Yes, we already look out for the new ban list. We only run 2 Draw and Lock. I think Draw and Lock is a great card, even if it's down on 2, because if you have a deck like Goblin Bikers where you don't run a lot of non-engine, Draw and Lock can really save you and yeah, basically be a turn skip for your opponent. So even if it's now on 2, I recommend playing it either way. But definitely let me know what you think in the comments. And guys, that's it for the monsters. For the spells, we start things off with 3 copies of Goblin Biker Grand Entrance. Amazing card right here, and a definite 3-off because it has the powerful effect that you add a goblin monster from your deck to your hand, and then you can apply the following effect. Detach an Xyz material from a monster on either field, and if you do, special summon a level 4 lower goblin monster from your hand. You can also banish this card from your graveyard, detach an Xyz material from a monster on either field, and then you can add a goblin monster from your graveyard to your hand. Now, this card is essential in every goblin combo you play. You just have to run 3 of those. Obviously, you can search it, but it's never a bad thing to have this in hand. Definitely a 3-off right here. Next up, we also run 3 copies of Goblin Biker Grand Breakout. Also, amazing quick play spell right here, with the effect that you tribute a monster for cost and then you special summon a goblin monster from your deck, but it cannot attack this turn. And when a monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from a graveyard and detach any number of materials from Goblin Xyz monsters you control, and all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 1000 attack for each material detached until the end of this turn. Obviously, this card is great to dodge things like Veiler, Imperm, anything like that, yeah? Just tribute it and switch it out for any goblin monster of your deck. It can also always help you to just build your board in the first place. So yeah, a really, really, really great card in my opinion. Also, the graveyard effect is also great for some protection during the battle phase, or of course for you to finish off real quick. Now, if you really are hungry for non-engine, I could see you cutting this, but I won't recommend it because I think this card can also really fix a bad hand, because it just switches out any monster for any Goblin Biker from your deck. Works great against Nip, for example. Just tribute a Nip token and there you go, pull off your combo. Yeah, A great card, 3 of in my opinion. If you want to cut it, I guess you could, but I don't recommend it. Next up is the Goblin card with the artwork I love the most, which is Goblin Biker Grand Bash. Look at them sitting together without their helmets. It's just a great experience to see what they look like under all those garments and leather jackets and stuff. And yeah, amazing permanent spell with the effect that goblin monsters you control gain 300 attack for each goblin monster you control. And during your main phase, you can normal summon a goblin monster in addition to your normal summon R set. And you can only gain this effect once per turn, obviously. Also, you can target 2 goblin monsters you control and activate one of these effects. You make the level of one of the monsters become the current level of the other, or both of their levels become their combined original levels. Now, this is actually a really great card. Boost your attack to finish off the duel first off, giving you another normal summon, amazing for an Xyz deck and a spam deck obviously, and then of course adjusting the levels, it does all for us. You can go into rank 6 place without a problem, even rank 9 is possible with Gone Wild and any other Goblin Biker level 3, so yeah, amazing card, but if you need it, you can search it. That's why I think 1 is definitely enough right here. This is not the case for our next card, which is 3 copies of Emergency Teleport. Amazing quick play spell, I guess you know what it does, I'm gonna explain it anyway. You special summon a level 3 or lower psychic monster from your hand or deck, but banish it during the end phase of this turn. So yeah, just free extender for any of your level 3 psychic monsters. Amazing card right here and definitely a 3 of. It's a free extender. And for non-engine, we run 1 copy of Called by the Grave to be hand trap safe. I really don't bother explaining this one. And we run 1 TTT right here. Also just an amazing card, obviously. And yeah, guys, that's it for the spells. And for the traps, we run 1 copy of Goblin Biker Grand Pileup. Also just an amazing card in my opinion, with the effect that you target an Xyz monster you control and then special summon a Goblin Xyz monster from your extra deck by using that target as material, and if you do, attach this card to it as material, which is treated as an Xyz summon and the materials are transferred. You can also banish this card from a graveyard to target a Goblin Xyz monster you control and 1 card in either graveyard. Attach the targeted card from the graveyard to that monster on the field as material. So once again, you can mess up your opponent's graveyard. You can go into your bigger Xyz monster, so your rank 6, without a problem. It can also help you dodge some hand traps or other effects. Amazing card, but we can search it out, so 1 is definitely enough. And the final card of the main deck is 1 copy of Full Armored Xyz. Amazing card right here with the effect that if an Xyz monster is on the field, immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon an Xyz monster using monsters you control. If you think about Gladys Bluder, this is amazing. Also, you can banish this card from a graveyard to target an Xyz monster you control and then equip 1 other Xyz monster from your field or graveyard to that monster as an equip spell with the following effects. The equipped monster gains attack equal to this card's attack, and if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle card effect, destroy this card instead. I think you know where this goes. Yes, we run Dark Lances, so it's 1 free suck or attaching actually, and also of course Xyz summoning during your opponent's turn. Amazing card, but we can obviously search it, so 1 is enough. And guys, that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we start things off with 2 copies of Goblin Biker Big Gabonga. The boss of the squad, amazing card right here, and actually the only extra deck monster we have twice. This card is a generic rank 3 with the effect that if this card is Xyz summoned, you can add a goblin monster from your deck to your hand. Also, if material is detached from a monster on the field, except during the damage step, you can target a face-up monster on the field, except this card, and attach it to this card as material. And during the end phase, you can attach a goblin monster from your deck to this card as material. So yeah, what can I say? Amazing card, part of every combo, because on summon it's a search. It then can suck up one of your opponent's monsters, which is great as interruption as well as breaking boards, and of course just gets a free material during the end phase, further setting up your field. Amazing card, and because it is so important for your combos, you need to run 2 at least. Next up, we run 1 copy of number 75 Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. Also an amazing card right here, generic rank 3, with the effect that once per turn when an opponent's monster activates its effect, quick effect you can detach 2 materials from this card, and the activated effect becomes both players draw a card. The great thing about this one is it's basically a monster negate, and also it doesn't matter where the effect is activated. Graveyard, hand, field, doesn't matter, you just make it that both of you draw a card. The other effects don't really bother us, but the monster gate alone makes this card really great. Definitely run one of this. We're not done with the numbers now. We also run one copy of number 3, Cicada King. Also an amazing card with the effect that if the battle position of this card is changed, you can special summon an insect monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. We don't really need that. But when a monster on the field activates its effect, you can detach a material from this card, then target that monster. Then you negate its effects and make one insect monster on the field gain 500 defense or change its battle position. It's basically just another monster negate on the field, and with, after the effect is used, 3000 defense, it's also a great wall on your side of the field. But you know they say the best defense is a great offense, and that's why we run one copy of Ashura King. I love this card. I remember when it was announced how hyped I was about this one, and still am, because this one needs 3 or more level 3 monsters, and it has the effect that while this card has material, it can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of materials attached to it. And at the start of the damage step, if this card battles, it gains 200 attack. And when another monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So, this one can attack at least 3 times when it's summoned. It gains attack for each attack, permanently by the way, and is a monster negate. This card is insanely powerful. Of course, most of the time going second, but can also be great going first. Amazing card right here. Next up, we run one copy of Xyz Armor Torpedo. Yes, we also run it was the shark package until sharks were really bad. We also run this one. It has the effect that it can't attack unless it has material, and you can detach 2 materials from this card to draw a card. Also, you apply these effects while this card is equipped to a monster. If the equipped monster battles until the end of the damage step, your opponent can't activate cards or effects, also negate the effects of all face-up monsters they control, and if the equipped monster is an Xyz monster, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. So obviously, great effects when it's equipped, but the most important part is it's level 3 and you can instantly and always get rid of its material. That's actually the great part about this one. You don't use it too much, but in some situations, it's very important to bring this one out, detach its materials to draw, because you know we have a lot of things going on when materials are detached. If you want to see an example, check out the Nexus-Replays, and yeah, let's go on. Obviously, we also run then one copy of Xyz Armor Fortress. The next one in line for the Torpedo, and with the effect that once per turn you can also Xyz summon it by using a rank 3 or 4 Xyz monster you control, and you transfer its materials, obviously. This card can't be used as Xyz material while it has material, and once per turn you can detach up to 2 materials from this card to add armored Xyz cards with different names from your deck to your hand equal to the number detached. Also, if a monster is equipped with this card and battles a monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. So the equip effect is great to finish off the duel. It's a searcher for full armored Xyz, obviously, and yeah, you can make this with any of your level 3s, so yeah, amazing card right here, but one is obviously enough. And I guess you already know the final step of this evolution. It's obviously full armor Dark Knight Lancer. Still love the artwork of this one. Oh, if only sharks had a longer time in the sun. I still miss Behemoth Shark. Anyways, this one has the effect that once per turn you can also Xyz summon it by using a rank 5 or 6 monster you control. Obviously, this one. It gains 300 attack for each material and equipped card it has, and once per turn you can target an Xyz card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Also, once per turn, if an equipped card becomes equipped to a monster you control, you can attach a monster your opponent controls to this card as material. So with your armored Xyz, it's another suck during your opponent. Amazing card, powerhouse, but one is obviously enough. Next up, we talk about the last few Goblin monsters we run, and the first one is Goblin Bikers Gone Bonkers, where we can see the prison break of the Goblin Bikers together with Diabellstar actually. Never noticed it until I made this video. Anyways, you can target face-up monsters your opponent controls up to the number of goblin monsters you control, detach one material from a monster you control, and if you do, attach those monsters to this card as material. Also, during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of Goblin Xyz monsters you control, detach 3 materials from a monster you control, and if you do, send those targeted cards to the graveyard. This card is a great board breaker, not only because of the detaching, because obviously there are cards that can't be targeted, but there are also cards that can't be destroyed, and this card Sense, which is very important in some plays. It doesn't come up too often, but it is a great card and definitely a one-off in every Goblin deck. And the final Goblin monster we run is one copy of Goblin's Crazy Beast. Watch out guys, this is actually not a Goblin Biker card, it's just a Goblin card. Anyways, this one has the effect that once per turn, quick effect, you can target a spell or trap on the field, detach 2 materials from a monster or monsters on the field, and if you do, attach that target to this card as material. Also, if a monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can detach a material from this card instead. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon it, and then you can attach a goblin monster from your graveyard to this card as material. So guys, this is great against field spells or permanent spells to just suck them up. Then of course it has protection and it can revive itself. Also a really great card, but one is definitely enough. And we round up the Xyz lineup with obviously one Zeus. In a deck like this, you have to run this one. Amazing card. Even if you don't necessarily need it, it's a powerhouse. We don't have to argue. I guess you know what it does. As well as our Link lineup, we run one IP Masquerena. Of course, we do. Very generic, but a great card. Then we run one SP Little Knight right here. Also, guess you know what it does. As well as one Nightmare Unicorn right here. Also very generic, but a great card. And we close up with Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Actually a really great card also to use with your IP, because obviously you spam a lot of monsters, and with IP and 2 more monsters, you can just use a monster from your opponent to bring this out during your opponent's turn, and when it comes out, it negates all the effects of your opponent's cards. So amazing card for IP here as well. And guys, that's it for the extra deck. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, definitely leave a like and a subscription. This would really help us a lot. It's one small click for you, but means the world to us, of course. Obviously, if you have any thoughts about this deck profile, definitely let us know in the comments. We always love to read and answer them and stay in touch with our community, of course. If you want the full Goblin Biker experience, don't forget to check out the test hand and basic combo video, as well as the Nexus-Replays, so you can really see this deck in action and know how it really works and how to play it. So guys, I'd say until next time, have a good one.